Hello everybody, welcome back to an episode of Till the Whistle Blows podcast. Now, I know we've been out for 2 weeks now, so what we're going to do to make up for it is we're going to do 2 episodes this week. We've got one on Saturday, which is when this episode will come out, where we catch up on everything that we've missed, and there will be one on Sunday where we go over the entire NFL offseason that has happened so far with our good friend Carrie. So, like I said, we've got 2 episodes. We're going to do what we've missed today, and we're going to do, or for Saturday, I guess today would be Saturday, and we're going to do what we missed in the NFL side of things with Mr. Carey. That'll be out on Sunday. So, now that we're back here, why don't we jump right into some of the stuff we missed here. So for the first thing that we want to go for is NCAA March Madness. So we missed the whole March Madness. I think we caught up on it. Maybe our return back from season 2, but we did miss the whole tournament due to what we were doing. So unfortunately, yes, we did miss out on that. But with that being said, though, we finally have a winner, and I think we will we'll go this from round to round. We'll talk about what big stuff happened throughout each round. So why don't we start with the first round here? I tried to watch as much as I could, and VCU they were supposed to play Oregon in their first round matchup, and they were disqualified due to COVID. Now, that kind of sucks because, you work hard all year, you get there, and boom, you have COVID. But you know what? It's understandable why, though. You gotta, respect the way they handle it. Unfortunately, yes, you couldn't bring anyone else in to do it, but you had to, you got to protect the players. They're in college. You got to do it. It's unfortunate, yes, but it's a good safety precaution. Hopefully everyone on the VCU side is now safe and okay. It's been a good solid 2 weeks for them, so hopefully they're back and they're healthy and they're ready to roll. There's one other thing I kind of missed before even the tournament even started. The NCAA pulled the sexist where the women's side got like jogging weights, while the men's side of things got like these heavy weights that they could actually work out with. And, that's kind of pulled over where they had to, they had to, make accommodations finally. But, why would you do that? What, are you saying women can't be as strong as men? That's kind of fucked up. They're here, they're playing as well, and they need to keep in physical shape, too. And you're not going to get, the best workout with, 5-pound to 4-pound weights. They need to get some good weights, too. And that's kind of messed up that they gave them, a little rack of, maybe the heaviest thing was 20 pounds, while the men are actually getting something they can work out with. That's kind of fucked up on their part. But you know what? There's not much we can do. Unfortunately, yeah, that shit happens. But someone at least spoke out about it this time. They didn't kind of wait for it to become a real issue for them. It was spoken out about quite early on, and it was really cool of them that they were able to speak out and get that going. So they brought light to something that needed to be given light to. All right, so why don't we head back into the tournament now? Unfortunately, I didn't really watch much of the women's, but in the men's side of things here, there was upsets everywhere in this first round. So why don't we talk about that real quick? So Oral Roberts, first of all, a 15 seed beating the 2 seed in Ohio State. Now, there's a few things that's kind of upsetting with that, but really cool. One, cool thing is congrats to Oral Roberts, because, they even went far in this tournament with that. And we'll get to how far they went in a second. But, it kind of led to a little fucked up situation as well. So, yes, you're the bracket killer, whatever. Again, I'm more happy that they won, because it's really cool that a 15 seed was able to win. Watching the lower seeds win, that brings the excitement to March Madness. You don't know what's going to happen here. In the NBA, we all predicted the Lakers were going to win the championship in the bubble. Here, you could not predict who was going to win. I thought Gonzaga was going to win. Look at what happened. They didn't. We'll talk about that later, too. But, with this, that makes it more fun. So, it's awesome that Oral Roberts wins. It's cool to see it. I love it. But now, Ohio State, because they lost, this kid that missed the shots to win it, he received death threats over the internet from a bunch of random fanboys, and that's fucked up. Now, why are you sending... First of all, this kid is probably, what, like 16, 17? He's not... That's fucked up that you're sending this to this kid. Yeah, he missed a shot. Boo-hoo. He's going to probably have much more shots coming down the road here. He'll probably be back. Like, he could make it to the NBA if he really wanted to. He'll have more opportunities. But that's fucked up that you're sending this kid death threats over him losing, ruining your bracket that you probably would have gotten not perfect the next day anyway, or another matchup down the road. Like, it wouldn't have mattered. It didn't matter. Like, it's really fucked up that we're sending death threats to, you know, athletes. Like, it doesn't ruin your whole day that they messed up one little thing. There always is another time. Like, this kid will be back. Unfortunately, yes, Ohio State run ended here, but they'll be back. They'll be back at the tournament. You don't need to send death threats to this poor kid. It's fucked up. Like, you know, Marquez Valdez-Scantling and the Packers didn't need to do it. Danny Green didn't need to send it to him. Now this kid, you don't need to send it, but whatever. So another team that had some upsets, 13 Ohio. We had 11 seed UCLA. 14 Abil Christian, another, 13 seed in North Texas, the 12th seed in Oregon State, and 11 Syracuse. Like, so many upsets were there. Did they all make it out of the next round? No, but we actually had a good amount. Like, you know, all right, so why don't we talk about where Oral Roberts went? Oral Roberts made it to the Sweet 16. They beat Loyola Chicago, by the way, who beat the number 1 seed in Illinois. Like, you can't make that stuff up. Like, you know, you get an upset, two upsets to make it to this matchup, and then, you know, you have a very competitive game with them being kind of both lower seeds, and that's awesome that they're both lower seeds here, because it makes it more fun. Now, what is it? The game, it turned out all right. Oral Roberts beat them. They made it to the Sweet 16, but unfortunately couldn't get out of the Sweet 16. If I'm not mistaken, that's where we had our other upset team in Oregon State, who made it to the Elite Eight. I believe they beat Oral Roberts to get there. I'm going to pull up a bracket, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see it kind of pop up behind me. So hopefully I can find a bracket here, and we can look at it real quick. So, where is it? Let's try bracketology. Maybe that'll have it. Nope, probably won't. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I'm like trying to figure out where I am. I didn't even realize Wichita State was supposed to be here. What was I saying? Oregon State, yeah. So Oregon State, you know, they made it to the Elite Eight. They lost there. But it's really cool to see that these teams are making it farther and farther. You know, this was huge upset city this year for the whole bracket. Like, yeah, it's a weird year because, you know, gets kind of fucked up over, you know, COVID was a little rough. COVID was a little rough, yes. Unfortunately, there's not much you can do here about it. But, you know, it is what it is. Oh, shit, sorry. Get that out of there. Let's see here. Do I mind what window is this going for? Nope. Sorry, I'm really trying to look at it because I'd love to show everyone what it is. And boom, let me get myself back in the picture for anyone watching on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, I have the bracket here. I just could not remember anymore. So why don't we zoom in on everything. So you can see Gonzaga there. Well, let's see. That's Michigan and UCLA. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, Oregon State, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. All right. So Oregon State is the one who beat Loyola Chicago. So then Oregon State went on to lose to Houston. They made it to the Elite Eight. Oral Roberts lost to Arkansas, or Arkansas if you're a normal person. And Baylor there. But yeah, so like the Oral Roberts one is really cool that they were able to make it. And they kept it actually a close game where they only lost by 2 points. Like, that's awesome. That's really cool of them. Oregon State, unfortunately, yes, they lost it in the Elite Eight, but they lost, by like 5-6 points. So that's not too bad either for them. But now the big team that I feel like made it really far with what they shouldn't have done. UCLA. They made it to the Elite Four. Now, they had a rough challenge. They had what? They had to go through Alabama, which was a 2 seed. They started with BYU in 16. Yes, they had to beat Bill Christian, but they beat them down by like 20 in the second round. They had to go through Alabama in the Sweet 16. They had Michigan in the Elite Eight, and then the Final Four. That was probably their toughest challenge right there, because Gonzaga, who was the number one team all year, like undefeated, making their way to this Final Four. Like, you come in and you bring them to like the brink of losing in overtime, like. And you have Jalen Suggs, I believe his name is. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to pull it up, and we're just going to watch it real quick as well. But he comes up, it's like, what, a little bit over overtime here. So hopefully it works. Yep. So if you're watching on YouTube, I have it pulled up here. So the kids of UCLA, 0.5, like whatever. This kid, he takes this ball. All right. So they tied it at 90. This kid is running down the court and just pops it from basically the logo and banks it in. Like, there's no way you could beat that. Like, that is an awesome thing for him to do. It's unfortunate what happened in the championship game for them, that they lose, but you could see the heartbreak in their faces here. Like, it is upsetting, but you know what? Like, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm still having it in the background here so you can just keep up with it. But like, this kid runs down court, like, no hesitation. Like, just he I think will be amazing if he goes to the NBA with that, like, ice in his veins right there. I get it's college basketball, but still, like, you that's a tough shot in like a big game. You cannot like say like, oh, that was bad. Like, this kid, ice in his veins, just jumps up from the logo and pops it in for the game winner. That's too insane for them to do. Like, I closed out the wrong image. But that's too insane. Like, you cannot beat that. And so with that, we had our championship game of Baylor and Gonzaga, the team that was undefeated. I thought Gonzaga was going to win, and lo and behold, it was Baylor that won. I think it was I don't even know if it was close or not. But so it was rough. It was 86-70. They win the national championship. It was awesome. Good game by them. And congrats to the Baylor Bears beating the Gonzaga Bulldogs in the NCAA Men's Championship. All right. From college basketball over to big basketball. So NBA basketball. During my time off, I was on one of Josen's for Sports' podcasts where we spoke about the NBA second half season. So I will try to find it and leave a link there for all of my analysis from the second half that I had from after All-Star break. I will see if I could find that real quick and post a link in the descriptions below. If not, I think it's on. I've posted it on Twitter and everywhere else. So with that, though, we miss the NBA trade deadline. So NBA trade deadline. So what happened? Here's what happened. The Magic blew up their roster. So yes, I was right to think that the Magic were basically kind of cooked. Because what the hell did they do? They blew up their roster. They were what, like last place? They're probably more last right now. But you know, this team blew it up. They're like the second worst team in the East, which probably means that they're the second worst team in the league. No, they're not, but they're pretty low down there. The only team worse than them in the East right now is the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons. So let's go over what happened here. Nikola Vucevic, their all-star center, traded to the Bulls. So there goes one guy out the door. That was the beginning of the end for them. Aaron Gordon wasn't happy. Send his ass to the West. He's with the Denver Nuggets. Now, he just went from worst team to he's going to be in the playoffs, probably competing. Evan Fournier, they just sent his ass to the Celtics. They sent his ass to a real team, too, and hopefully that helps them. Celtics have been kind of dookie the second half, and you know what? It's fine. But with that, that's the Magic Big Three right there. They just shipped them all off. What does that mean for the Magic? Absolutely nothing, really, because now they have no team anymore. Orlando Magic literally has gone downhill here. They are going downhill. It's going to be full rebuild season for any Orlando Magic fans here because you just got rid of everyone. Everyone's gone. Everyone's gone here. Like, there's not much you could do. So, you know what? Let's go over the teams that, they got those players for. Nikola Vucevic, that is for a good young Bulls team here. It might not be their time now, but, give it maybe another year or so. You get the right pieces in there, work the free agency, get some good players in the draft. Boom. You're ready to compete in the East. I don't know if you're going to be ready to compete in the West because the West has so many dominant teams. But with the Bulls, I think they're almost there. Give it like a year or so. These Bulls will be here to play. Now, when it comes to the Nuggets, they were dangerous last year. They're kind of having a bit of a rough patch right now. Add Aaron Gordon. That's another sweet, solid depth piece. He might be starting. But that team is going to be a dangerous team for this Nuggets here. Now, yes, you're playing against the Lakers. If at full health, they're dangerous. The Golden State Warriors, if at full health, they're dangerous. You're playing in the Utah Jazz domain, which is apparently like a number 1 seed right now. They are dangerous. And the Phoenix Suns are dangerous. Everyone here is very, very dangerous right now. So there's not much you can do about that. But with that being said, you have to say, wow, these teams are going to be insane. So, that's the Nuggets. The Celtics, they're having all sorts of issues. I don't know what's going on with them. I think they're in full collapse right now. I don't get it. So, I'm not too sure what it's going on with them right now. The Celtics, they're like peeking in. They're the 17th. They're above the Knicks. But they're just kind of not the team they were last year. They made it to the conference championship, and they don't seem to be at that level right now. That's unfortunate for them, but you know what? You got to play the games, and that's what they're doing. They're playing as best they can, and it's just what it is. All right, let's move on to some other notable worthy trades here. All right, Houston Rockets are officially going into full rebuild. You know why I say this? Victor Oladipo was sent to the Miami Heat for basically pennies. Like what they got, Avery Bradley and Kelly Olynyk out of that. Whatever. Cool. Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley's been on a downhill decline. I thought he was a great player back a few years back, but now he's just kind of there. He's just there. There's not much to say about him. Kelly Olynyk was a solid big man for the Celtics, but he needs a team around him to be that solid big man. And you got John Wall. Yeah, he's playing well, but this team is young, it's developing, and they're finally realizing small ball didn't work for them. So they're gonna be in full rebuild here. Hopefully they get some real pieces, real centers in there. But we'll see what happens with them. But so what does that mean for the Heat? When we were talking about the Heat a while back, they were teetering playoffs. They have now jumped into the 6th seed. They've run on a solid win streak, beating Knicks, Pacers, Warriors, Cavs. Yeah, they lost to the Grizzlies, but they beat the Lakers, the LeBron-less Lakers. But this adds a solid team around them now. Because what do they got? They have Jimmy Butler, great player, great offensive player. But all right, we'll do this position by position. Point guard, you're running Oladipo. His backup, Goran Dragic. His backup, Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn is a solid player who could do the 1 or 2 guard. Goran Dragic is a great point guard there. Now, shooting guard, you have Duncan Robinson, and backing up him is Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero, the savior from last year's playoffs, who really got them to that championship, is awesome. And Duncan Robinson is a really, really solid player. Now, small forward, you have Jimmy Butler, backing him up, Andre Iguodala. Jimmy Butler, solid all-star player, who I think should have been there with teammate Bam Adebayo, but whatever. Andre Iguodala gives you that veteran presence that this team really does need. Great team there. And then you got Trevor Ariza with Nemanja Bjelica. So those are some solid role players you got going on there. And center, you've got Bam Adebayo. There is no reason this team should not be stronger than they are. Now, yes, they're playing in an East with the Sixers, with Embiid and Simmons, who have a good team around them, with Doc Rivers coaching, Milwaukee with Giannis, and Brooklyn Nets, the God Squad, apparently, with Blake, with Kevin Durant, with James Harden, and new acquisition, which we'll talk about later, LaMarcus Aldridge. What the fuck? That team is dangerous. But so Victor Oladipo, he gets out of Houston. He gets a real team now and has a real chance to compete. Because, you know, he was on the Magic, didn't really do much. He was on the Pacers. They kind of screwed him a little bit. He was on Houston, where they was kind of more screwed. And now the Heat, which is a real team. Real coach in Eric Spoelstra. That should be a fun team for them. So the Pelicans were trying to move Lonzo Ball and J.J. Redick. Lonzo stays. J.J. Redick heading to the Mavs. What does that mean for the Mavs? They just get a solid point guard. Not really too crazy there. Norman Powell, he got traded from the Raptors to the Trailblazers. That's a solid big man for the Portland Trailblazers. Hopefully that helps them get a little more over the edge. George Hill, he got sent to the 76ers. What does that mean for the Sixers? Point guard. I think Ben Simmons, a backup for Ben Simmons, I guess. That's really kind of that's really it, I guess. Not 100% sure. Yeah, George Hill, he's just backing up Ben Simmons, even though he's out right now, so doesn't really help him, but it's a good role player, good solid bench piece for the Sixers. Nothing too crazy to report about there. So now Lou Williams, Sixth Man of the Year, and Rajon Rondo, Laker champion, who was on the Hawks, swapped basically. So Lou Williams is heading to the Hawks. He was not happy. He was really considering retiring. He's on a Hawks team that's a 5th seed right now, and Rondo heading to the Clippers to join a stacked team. So let's talk about the Hawks real quick. Hawks right now, first in the division. They're actually in the playoffs. Lou Williams will be the 6th man still. He's right behind Trae Young. Unfortunately, here's the issue now. DeAndre Hunter, out. John Collins, out. That's 2 starters you're missing. So with that, you know, that's kind of fucked. It's kind of messed up for him. It's kind of fucked. But, you know, you do what you got to do. Both teams looking for, or this team right particularly looking to make it to the big dance after years now. And they can make it. I think if John Collins and DeAndre Hunter make it back, they should be solid and rocking and ready to roll. Now, the Clippers, I think they're looking to get that Rondo magic that they gave last year to, what was it? To the Lakers. So he'll be backing up Patrick Beverley. He'll be a 6th man as well. You know, this team is looking solid. They are poised to make a deep playoff push. Unfortunately, it is the Clippers. They will probably disappoint somewhere in the near future. Now, let's see here. So let's talk about these buyouts now. LaMarcus Aldridge bought out from the Spurs. Andre Drummond bought out from the Cavs. So they were in free agency. Where do they go? LaMarcus Aldridge heads over to Brooklyn to join these Nets. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Blake Griffin, and LaMarcus Aldridge. If all healthy, that's going to be a dangerous team. So breaking the NBA again, that's cool. So probably the Nets are going to win this one, even with just KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, if they're all healthy, though. That's the big thing. If healthy. Because the Nets have been like one time here. Like Kevin Durant just humped back into the lineup. James Harden got hurt. Kyrie's been playing. Like, we got to see what's going to happen here. This team will probably self-destruct with all these players. I don't know if they're going to be able to coexist. Andre Drummond, he's, I think, in a different situation because he's filling in for an injured Anthony Davis. They just needed him badly. They probably would have still got him for backup, but he's in for injured Anthony Davis. He's probably not going to come back for a while. He's not going to be back for a long, long while because, you know what, they're running with LeBron James is out 4 to 7 weeks, and they still really don't know what's going to happen to Anthony Davis. Like, they're big two here. They're beaten up. They're battered. They're really, really getting screwed here. So, honestly, I'm not too sure what's going to happen with them, but these teams, so they made their changes. We see what's going to happen. Hopefully, it'll be an interesting second half. The Suns and Jazz still up there with the top 2 seeds. The Nets did overtake the Sixers in the standings there. So it should be a fun, interesting time. We're going to see what happens. One other thing we missed while on our little break of personal issues, the Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball, Rookie of the Year frontrunner, is out for the rest of the season. Jesus Christ. That's kind of a grim note to go with there. But yeah, he is out for the rest of the season. he got a bad injury, but he should hopefully be back next year for a good run of a year for him. When it comes now, just to kind of end the first half of our episode with a kind of a grim note, ex-NFL player Philip Adams, I think on Thursday, the 8th, it was found that he killed 5 people and then ended up killing himself. He killed a doctor, his wife, 2 grandchildren, and someone working on the house, and then murdered himself. Unfortunately, yes, grim situation. Prayers go out to the family of the doctor. And you know what? We don't know what happened to Philip Adams. It could be the concussion stuff. He could have just gone insane. But from what it sounded like, he just was having a rough time and just went on that murder spree right there. So, you know what? It's a dark time right now. We're definitely, I think we're heading back to normal with all these mass shootings. Prayers go out to everyone. Hopefully, we won't worry about this too much anymore. So, as you can hear, the whistle is blowing. That means we're going into halftime right now. So that was our first half here. We will catch up, take a word from our sponsor, and we'll follow up with what we got in the second half of our show. Today's video is brought to you by Vegetarian Viking Wool, 100% faux furs. You can go to their website, check it out. All great, amazing, all locally owned, handmade. No plastic, no fake furs, all 100% faux fur, protecting the environment. Make sure to go to Vegetarian Viking Wool and get yours today. Welcome back. All right, so that was our first half of our episode. So we're back here. So why don't we wrap up today's episode? We're not going to bring out the spreadsheet right now because we're just going to stick with what else we missed. The MLB season. It has begun. It was a good spring training. We got to see what everyone was up to. Sorry. I got to see what everyone was up to, and we saw some good stuff. So, how'd it turn out? Mets and Nationals. That game was supposed to be on ESPN, 7 o'clock opening day, and they got postponed due to COVID. A couple of the members of the Nationals organizations did test positive. Hopefully they're okay. They did go back to play the other day against the Braves. Sorry, a little gassy now. But they went back to play against the Braves, so they're back. They're ready to go. But that series has been rescheduled. They're going to be a doubleheader in June and July, so we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Speaking of the doubleheader rules, so they kept the rules where it is a 7-game doubleheader that's still in effect, so you got to keep an eye out for that. And they kept the rule where there's a runner on second when when extra innings take place, which I still don't like. But they got rid of the universal DH rule, so the NL is back to normal. No universal DH. I'm a little upset by that. I actually really like the universal DH. I thought it was cool, and they got rid of it. Oh, well. So why don't we talk about some of the teams, though? Cincinnati Reds, they're off to a hot start. They're up. They've been scoring 9 runs a game. They're on a good hot streak here. They're winning. They're doing what they need to do. How long before they fall off a cliff is the real question. That's what we need to know. Now, with the Reds, though, I don't remember who they've been playing. I don't think it's been the strongest of competition. But we got to just, it is what it is. We got to see what happens. So, you know what? They're off to a hot start. Hopefully they keep that hot start because it'd be nice to see these Reds, do something nice for a little bit. It'd be cool. It'd be nice, What it is. But they've been putting up like 9 points a game. It's really, really cool of them. Oh, I'm trying to pull up their schedule. And yeah, so they the only game they lost was to the St. Louis Cardinals, 11-6, but then they put up 9 against them, 12. They put up 5 against the Pirates, 14 against the Pirates, and 11 against the Pirates. Their next game will be today against the Diamondbacks, or not today, I'm sorry, on the 9th. I'm recording this on Friday, the 9th. So they'll have a game. Hopefully, we'll see what happens from that game as it proceeds us here. So why don't we talk about this rookie sensation, Akil Baddoo from the Detroit Tigers. He has been making a name for himself. He put up a grand slam in his first game. He had to walk off another game. He's been going crazy, this kid. He's got 7 RBIs off of 2 home runs. His first hit in the game was a home run for the first pitch. This kid could make a name for himself, or he could completely fall off a cliff. Again, this is only the first week of the season, so everything that's happening now might not be happening next month, maybe next year, like, next 2 months, later down the stretch. There's 162 games to get through. This is, this hot streak could easily die out. Like, unfortunately, what happened, like, everything I mentioned now cannot be the same situation later. Like, that's the problem. Like, that's the situation here with baseball. It's so many games. I love watching. I love trying to keep up with what I can. I keep a tab on them. But, there's so many games. You're not going to be able to get everything. You're not going to be staying in the same shape. You're going to hit fatigue. You're going to see different teams here. Like, I'm going to talk about the Mets probably constantly throughout the day, just because that's my team. So the Mets, they're starting off shaky. They're 2-2 right now. Maybe they pick it up later. Maybe they fucking fall off a bridge. You never know. They're supposed to be this great team right now. They're actually second in their division. They're at 500. The Marlins are 1-6. We'll talk about what happened there in a minute. All right, so yeah, Keel, he could be easily falling off a cliff later. You never know. Now, Fernando Tatis Jr., cover athlete of MLB The Show 21. Be sure, by the way, when that game comes out, be sure to check us out at twitch.tv/dudes_on-a-couch. I'll be trying to do some Diamond Dynasty when that game comes out on the 20th. Now, speaking of which, though, he's the cover athlete. He's out for at least 10 days. Shoulder, trying not to do any surgery. Hopefully no surgery. He's an amazing player. Hopefully it'd be nice to have him back. Let's see. What else we got here? Shohei Ohtani. He is showing the world why he looks like he could be a great pitcher, the best pitcher batter. He goes up to the mound. He throws 101 miles per hour. He goes behind the plate, smacks a big home run out of the park. But again, early showings, he could easily fall off a bridge, get hurt, whatever. So, but why don't we talk about some of the stuff that's going on here with some of the big shockers at the moment. Tampa Bay Rays, they're 2-4. That's a slow start for them. The Indians really wasn't much of a shock. There's a lot of people predicting the White Sox to be better, but they're 4-4 right now. They're sitting at a good 500. So maybe they turn it up a little bit later down the showing here. Oakland Athletics sitting at 1-7. Marlins, playoff team last year, 1-6. Let's talk about what happened there for a second now. Game against the Mets on Thursday the 8th. They're tied at 2. Michael Conforto leans his elbow in, gets hit a little bit, and the umpire says take his base. A bit of a controversy here, but Conforto doesn't care. The Mets don't care. They got the win. Marlins are a little upset. But what happened, though, honestly, it's kind of interesting. But so the Mets get a free win, basically. It was bases loaded. Conforto gets hit, and boom, controversy springs. Their next game will be when this episode comes out on the 10th, around 1:10. Let's see if the Marlins want to get their revenge or if the Mets just bully them out the stadium there. But there's not really much to talk about here. This is probably going to be a short episode then. We'll bring up some other news. But all right, so I'm going to talk about the division leaders right now. Orioles on top of the East, 4-2. Twins on top of the Central, 4-2. We got the Astros top of the AL West, 5-1. Phillies top of the NL East, 5-1. The Reds top of the NL Central, 5-1, and the Dodgers on top of the NL West as well, 5-2. So, what does that mean for the teams? The Reds and the Cardinals, actually, they're both on top of the Central. The Reds are only on top because they're 5-1. Cardinals had an extra game in there. They're 5-2. What does that mean? I don't know. But why don't I give my early season predictions? I'm going to lock these in. I'm not going to change my mind, but I am going for the most wild picks. No one's picking them. Cincinnati Reds are going to take the NL. I think the Angels will take the AL. I'm going dumb wild here. This is going to be my prediction. It's on camera. I wrote it down. I think the Angels and the Reds will make it to the World Series. Who's going to win? I don't know. We'll say the Angels. I'll give it to the Angels. I think the Angels will win it. But we'll see what happens. These two teams could easily fall off a bridge, but that's my early season prediction. I don't care. I'm going with the most wild thing. So why don't we go question of the day? This will be for Saturday. Question of our episode: who wins the World Series? We'll post it on Twitter. I want to hear everyone's answers. Make sure you follow along and keep up with that. We'll do, like I said, we're doing questions of the day every day. And that will wrap up. You hear the whistle blowing here. That's the end of today's episode. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and I know we have a Twitch channel, but we're doing all of our Twitch gaming over on the Dudes on a Couch Twitch channel. One last announcement: we are thinking about rebranding here to keep with the couch theme. So as much as I like Till the Whistle Blows, we may be fixing that to stick with our on the couch theme that we have going on with our whole operation here. Since we are technically Dudes on a Couch, we're going to try to do something related to that couch. So keep your eye out for that. And with that, we will catch you guys tomorrow. We'll be joined by our good friend Carrie for NFL off-season news. And I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their Saturday. We'll catch you later.